Okay, so in this video, we will talk about some more questions from NUST entry test past paper questions, which are related to the topic functions and limits. The first part of this video is already uploaded on our channel. This would be the second part. Okay, so here are some questions which we need to talk about. Okay, now the 13th question is basically which one is true? Okay, what is one? One says limit e to the x with x going to infinity is infinity. Well, this is not true because e to the x with x going to infinity is basically 0. I've also mentioned this in the first part. Since e is a decimal number, the value of exponential is a decimal number. When we multiply that number itself infinite times, we would get a very, very small number or a number with very, very large decimal places, right? So that would be approximately 0. So this should be 0. And this means 1 is incorrect. So since we are preparing for NUST entry test, we will be having MCQs. We will just cross out all the options indicating 1 as our answer. So A cannot be the answer because it says 1 and 2. Then, okay, B could be the answer. Then C cannot be the answer because again it has 1, and D cannot be the answer because it has all. This means that without even looking at the second and third one, we can easily say that B would be the answer. Okay, so B is the answer. Right, let's talk about the next question. So that is basically the 14th question. Okay, so we have that let x mod denote the number of elements in x. Okay, now basically this is a number which is basically telling us the number of elements in x, then x cross y mod would have. When x mod is telling us the number of elements in x, x cross y will tell us the number of elements in x cross y. And always remember, this means that cross is basically intersection because x is probably a set, because the statement is like let x mod denotes the number of elements in x. This means that x would be a set. So x cross y means x intersection y. The number of elements in x intersection y are basically the difference of elements in both the sets, right? So the answer would be B. So this was easy. The only thing which you need to understand here is that you need to think about it as x intersection y. And we know that whenever we are interested in finding out the elements in the intersection, we just have to find the difference of the two a number of elements in the two sets, right? Okay. Let's talk about the 15th question then. Let A equals 3, 5, 7 minus 9, and then B set has 0, 1 minus 3. R is this, then the domain of R is. Now basically R is a function. Whenever we talk about function, we know that we have some domain elements and we have some range elements. And when we talk about domain, we are basically referring to the x's. So since this set R is telling us the values of the function at their respective x values, so we just need to find out the x values because we are interested in the domain. So x's are 3, 5, 7 and minus 9. This means that the answer would be C option. Okay, let's talk about the next question, that is the 16th question. So it says limit of 1 minus cos 2x divided by x square with x going to 0 is what? Now when we say x going to 0, denominator becomes 0 and numerator is 1 minus cos 2 into 0 would be 0. This means that we are getting 0 by 0 form. That is basically the indeterminate form. So we cannot work this way. We need to do something about it, and that something is we need to derivate the numerator and the denominator using the L'Hopital's rule. Let's derivate the numerator. So we will have minus cos 2x would become positive 2 sine 2x. Why is it like this? It is like this because we had a minus sign here. Derivative of cos is minus sign. So minus minus would be plus. And derivative of 2x is 2. Divided by 2x. This 2 and 2 would be cancelled. And now when we use these limits, limit x approaching to 0, again what do we have? We have 0 by 0 form because sine 0 is 0. Things are not working again. Once again, we need to find the derivative with respect to x. So this time it would be 2 cos 2x divided by 1. And now we can use the limit x approaching to 0. So cos 0 is 1. So 2 into 1 is 2. So the answer would be D. Again, as I've been telling you in the first part of this video as well, in these questions, when you are not able to find, when you are getting the indeterminate form again and again, you need to differentiate the numerator and denominator again and again, right? So in this question, we had to differentiate it once and then 2 times, right? Okay. Let's talk about the 17th question. In the 17th question, we have x cube minus 27 divided by x square minus 9 with the limit x going to 3. So it would be 27 minus 27 divided by 9 minus 9. Again, this is 0 by 0 form. We cannot work this way. We need to find the derivative of both the numerator and the denominator. So in the numerator, it would become 3x square divided by 2x. And again, things are not working because again, when I will use 3 by 3, okay. This time, what do we have? We are getting 3x square by 2x. Limit x going to 3 will give me 3 into 3 multiplied by 3 square, that is 9, divided by 2 multiplied by x, that is 3. So 3 and 3 would be cancelled. This time it is 9 by 2. So yes, my bad. We had to differentiate this question once only because we are fine with this part. Now when we will use the limit x approaching to 3, we will get the correct answer is 9 by 2. That basically is that it is no more in the indeterminate form. Okay. Let's talk about the 18th question. Now in the 18th question, we have limit 1 minus cos p theta divided by 1 minus cos q theta is what? And theta is going to 0. We know that cos is 1 at 0. So again, we are getting 0 by 0 form. We need to differentiate it, both the numerator and the denominator. So if I differentiate the numerator, I will get p sine p theta, and denominator would be q sine q theta. Again, when I will use limit theta approaching to 0, I'm getting 0 by 0 form. I need to differentiate it again. This time it would be p square. And why are we getting p square? Because we had one p already and second p is coming by the derivative. Cos p theta divided by q square into cos q theta. So this would be A, because when we will use theta approaching to 0, this would become 1 and 1. So it would be q square by p square by q square. Okay. Let's talk about the next question. In the next question, we have uh, something in terms of f of x and f of a, and we need to find the equivalent form. Okay. So we have f of x minus f of a divided by x minus a. And basically, when we will use x approaching to a, it would become f of a minus f of a divided by 0. But since this is again indeterminate form, so we need to talk about something equivalent. Okay, so basically the answer is B. Why? Because with same expression, we have a plus h here, and when we do h approaching to 0, we will get f of a here. Then this is same, and in the denominator we have h, but in the denominator of the actual function we have x minus a. But we are getting 0 after applying the limit, and here again after applying the limit we will get 0 in the denominator. That is why the answer is B. Okay, let's talk about the next question, that is the 20th question. Inverse function of y equals x over x plus 5 equals. Acha. Now, whenever we have been asked to find the inverse function, it's very simple. Step 1 is to replace x and y. So I can write it as x equals y divided by y plus 5. Okay, this is a fixed method of finding the inverse function. Okay, now I need to make y the subject of my equation. Right now the subject is x. All right, so it would be this. And now I have x here. I will take y plus 5 to the other side. It would be x into y plus 5, and that would be equal to y. Again, the target is to make y the subject of our equation, right? So in this time, okay, so it would be xy plus 5x equals y. I'll take this y to this side, and I will get minus 5x xy minus y. I'll make y the subject, and I will get x minus 1 divided by minus 5x. So I can clearly see that when I will make y the subject, I will have to divide x minus y to the other side. So it is minus 5x divided by x minus y, and I don't have any option of this type. So what I need to do is I need to take out minus sign common in the denominator, and then both the minuses in the numerator and denominator would be cancelled, and I will get D as my answer. Okay, let's talk about the 21st question. So here we have limit cosecant pi plus h goes to. So h is approaching to 0. This means we have cosecant pi. Cosecant is basically sine. So cosecant is 1 over sine. So it would be 1 over sine pi. So 1 over sine pi, where would be basically 1 by 0. And the answer would be D, because sine pi is 0. The value of sine at theta equals pi is 0. Okay. Let's talk about the next question. It would be the 22nd question. The graph of the function y equals log x has an asymptote at. For this part, we need to basically plot the graph of log x. So it is basically something of this type. And this line right here is basically the y-axis, that is x equals 0. So the answer would be D because that is the asymptote. Okay. Let's talk about the 23rd question. Now, in the 23rd question, we have limit x approaching to infinity with the function x by 1 plus x whole x is what? We don't know this, but we know limit x approaching to infinity and the reciprocal of this function, that is 1 plus 1 by x, that is basically the reciprocal of the given function, to the power x. This is basically equal to e, right? This is what we know, but this is the reciprocal of this function. This means that the value of the question would be the value of this function, the question which we have been asked would be b, that is e to the minus 1, because if this is e, then the reciprocal would be 1 over e, that would be e to the minus 1. Okay. And the last question is the graph of the parametric equations x equals this and this when t is between these two represents what? So if we just find the equation quickly, I will get y equals t, and t is basically under root x because we know that x equals t square, and this is basically a parabola, right? So it would be parabola. Always remember, students most of the times think that when we talk about parabola, it's only for x square. No, it's not the truth. We also say y square equals x. The graph of this function is also said to be a parabola, although the shape is different, but it is similar to the shape of parabola, but it is basically tilted towards the positive and negative x-axis, right? It totally depends on the question. So this was the second part of the first video. Here we have discussed some more questions which were related to the topic functions and limits.